Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Hos Bright Esports i Västerås kan du testa på både NASCAR och olika formulabilar, precis som Svenska Eracingligan's deltagare. Gå in på brightesports.com och boka just din tid.
Hello and welcome to the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan, and we are back for the second round of the Formula Series. It's been great fun last time back at Barber Motorsports Park, where we started this season of Formula 4 action. Of course, this is the road course series alongside the oval series that's going back to back every single week between now and November. We've got 6 rounds coming your way over the season, and this is surely going to be a lot of fun. Myself, Cameron, Roger, Dylan Cole is in the commentary booth for this one, and Dylan, we certainly know what these cars are like, these Formula 4 cars, and around a tricky circuit like Oulton Park tonight is going to be quite a tough one for the drivers, I think.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a bit of a tough one for the drivers. Oulton Park is one of the most unique setups that we've got across the whole world of motorsports tracks. It's very narrow and it's very windy. The elevation changes are pretty mighty as well. I think we're in for a treat here with 3 sets of quick races in this F4 machine.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 races coming to us this evening. Here is the calendar for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan Formula Series for 2023. We started at Barber, our last amounts for rounds 1 to 3. We now move to Oulton Park for the Bright Esports presents Oulton GP. We have 12 laps, and then 17 laps for the third race of the evening. That will be a reverse grid before we work our way over to Australia, to Winton, up to Japan and Okayama, before coming back to the European continent for Oschersleben, and then finally we go to Homestead, Miami for the final race of the season in November. It's going to be a lot of fun. And here is the point standings after that first round. Jesper Eriksson took 2 race victories, but he's closely followed by Tobias Olsson in that second place. They've got a bit of a jump to Henrik Lindhoff in that third place. Fredriksson is in 4th, and David Johansson is in that 5th place. But as ever, with 100 points on offer for the winner of every race, and everyone actually getting points to the finishers, certainly going to be a tricky one to work out contenders just yet. But what we do know is that Barber was a lot of fun. There was a lot of action, and to be honest, I'm really expecting some nice close racing once again throughout this evening. So what's going to happen is we're going to have the qualifying session. That's going to determine the grid for the first race. We then obviously have that race, 12-lap race, and then the result of that will then be the grid for the second race. So it's almost just like a stop and start situation. But then when we finally get to that third race, we have the top 15 inverted from the results of that second race. So that's finally the opportunities for some drivers a little bit lower down to jump up to the front and see what they can do. But for this first race, it's all about speed. It's all about potentially the fastest drivers to lock in some points as we go into the qualifying session. 2 minutes left, and Tobias Olsson is following on from his good speed. Also, Jesper Eriksson up the front there on the front row as it stands.
Yeah, Eriksson, we were talking about it beforehand. He always gets so excited whenever he has won a race, whether it's in the road course, the oval series, and I love it. The excitement just builds. It's almost like he's winning all the time right now. We'll see if he's able to keep that up. Of course, Oulton Park is currently on the F4 British Championship calendar. Actually, if we're talking about earlier this year, back in June, it was held 3 races, similar format over 2 days. That was the middle rounds of the championship. It's so unique as we cars try and race around here, almost like a hot lapping circuit. It feels like where it's just fun to drive individually, and then you get the racing involved.
Yeah, it's one of the proper sort of old school British tracks. It's very narrow, it's very twisty as such. As track limits, especially there on the exit of Cascades. This fast left-hander to open the lap, and yeah, definitely got to be looking out for those track limits. Here's Henrik Lindhoff, obviously high up in the championship. He'll be wanting to continue with that one. It's certainly it's a tricky one though. You want to be getting in those points. He had a good first couple of races. Getting 90 points apiece in those opening ones, so getting up on the podium, but to do that again here at Oulton Park is certainly going to be a little bit more difficult. Currently down in that 9th place as it stands, coming through the twisty part of the track. That's the Hislop chicane in towards Knickerbrook. Then before we come this run up the hill past the water tower, and of course into the final few sections of the lap. I think Dylan, it's going to be very tricky to overtake around here, so maybe having some sort of race strategy, some race craft is going to be what's going to sort of win you these races.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like one of the bigger passing zones we're going to see on this track in this circuit as qualifying has ended is going to be that run down Lakeside into the island hairpin to Hilltop. That's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, certainly is. But that's qualifying done for the first race of the evening. And of course, the grid will be set and we'll go racing for the first time. Here is the grid though. Tobias Olsson getting on that front row with Jesper Eriksson alongside him. Isak Arvidsson is on the second row alongside David Johansson. Oscar Fredriksson is in 5th place and Mattis Martinsson is in 6th position. Christopher Geros is in the 7th place alongside Alexander Olsen to round off your 4th row. Henrik Lindhoff there is in 9th place with Melvin Åkesson in 10th. Michael Hafferdarson, who is actually the reigning champion as such of the road course series, winning the last time in the LMP2 season, 11th place with a Lenholm inside your top 12. Drodzer is in 13th place with Salander in 14th. Dan Holmer and Helberg round out your top 6 with Christoph Cook is in 17th place and Headfords is in 18th, and it is quite a large field today. Holmerin is in 19th place with Peter Bjork in 20th place. Jockey Fritz is in 21st and Kasper York in 22nd place. Loden and Lundberg round out your top 24 drivers. Ganser Lindberg inside your top 26 with Holmbaum and Johansson inside your top 28 with Neptune and Matthias Strauss into your top 30. A lot of these drivers actually not setting lap times. Motin Eriksson inside your top 32. Hammerstrom and Sjöberg inside your top 34. Wallingston and Nordgren are inside your top 36. Dan Sola, Anton Oman, some of the big drivers are all failing to set laps. Segelson is in 39. Grenholm is in 40th place. Green and Neil round out 42 cars. So they keep on going though. Did say it was a big grid. We got Forshu, Judsel in 44th place. Bjorn Brostrom and Åkerblom there in 46th place. And Patrick Pfeffer will round out your 47 car grid. Coming to the grid at Oulton Park. This is absolutely massive and I can't wait to see. Any last predictions from you, Dylan?
Well, I can tell you one thing. We're underway. Predictions no more. This is going to be a fun run, a fun start into Old Hall Corner.
Oh, it certainly is as the race gets underway. So many cars coming to this first corner. It's so very tight and twisted, but somehow they're getting to a single file formation already as we come down the hill in towards Cascades. Contact already as there goes. Oh, both of the Swedish Esports cars are going off. More contact between the leaders already. That is absolute carnage. We got cars upside down, and that is a terrible way to start the evening.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe no one is stopping or trying to get around there. That wreck is continuing, and they're wrecking again, coming down into the island hairpin, I should say. That is a mess. What a mess.
Yeah, that is absolute carnage. Somehow, the 37, that's Jesper Eriksson, your championship leader, has got away at the front, and he's not going to be loving what he sees in his mirrors as such, but still from a result point of view, he just needs to keep going. So it's really spread out. We've got sort of 4 or 5 cars out towards the front. So it is Olsen in that second place as it stands. That is Alexander Olsen, though not Tobias Olsen, who was on that front row of the grid on that pole position. Hafferdarson has come up into 3rd place already. Lenholm is in 4th. Salander is in 5th place. So it's all changed. So many cars into the pit lane. I think I count about 17 cars already in the pit lane.
Yeah. I counted 18.
Oh, Ericsson as well.
Yeah.
He must have some damage from that contact.
Man. Well, at least he didn't tow back. He's not going to lose as much time, but that's still substantial there. So many cars at that first corner, that second corner incident. I mean, that was one of the biggest catastrophes of wreck avoidance I think I've ever witnessed in not just sim racing, but racing as a whole. But we do have a three-way fight for the lead between Oulton, Haflidason, and Lenholm. Solander is trying to catch up. Man, what a mess.
And of course, this is the Bright Esports presents Oulton Park, and their driver Lenholm is up there in third place. That 263 machinery, so look out for them, of course, and Oulton as well, leading in the way so far. So definitely one to look out for. But as we come up the hill once more, it's going to be a 12-lap race around here, and yeah, not a lot of time, but absolute carnage to start. We've seen a huge field spread already. Dan Homer, who's in fifth place, even after 2 laps, is over 5 seconds off the lead. Now that's going to go all the way down. It's going to be a really big shake-up in the points, especially with 100 points for the race victory. Is going to change things quite a lot with some big names dropping out of that one. But as we come across the line to start the third race, we've got Oulton leading the way. Haflidason getting very close though for that race lead.
Mate, 27 cars are still on track, and we're wrecking again in the back of the field. 27 cars. We started with 47. 20 cars have wrecked out of this race on lap 1. They're still wrecking right now. This is unbelievable.
Wow, this is certainly a tricky car track combination. As Orman there, no, doesn't come into the pit lane. He's going to continue, and I guess the issue that we had was we had the leaders wrecking on that first lap, and when they do, everyone is just filing in behind them. We've already mentioned it's such a tight and twisty track, but that is definitely not what we want to see. As we're getting further contact, there's the 303. That's one of the cars, one of the Swedish cars, Lindbergh there, who is involved in that contact, I believe, in the first couple of corners as well. So just further issues coming for these guys, and they need to sort of be careful. I guess we might be looking for some big penalties coming the way, and also, of course, still 2 races to go, so you've got to be keeping your motivation up for those 2 races following later on.
Yeah, and something to add to that, the incident count penalty limit is a 15x. You get there, you get a penalty, which I do believe is either stop and go or just a pass-through penalty. Then it's going to be every 8x from that point on. Nonetheless, I am happy to say that these 3 right here on your screen are very competitive, very close. The wild thing, though, Oulton, Haflidason, and Lenholm, 8th, 11th, and 12th on the grid. Only one driver from the top 10 who started this race is not a lap down.
That is... Wow, that is some pretty crazy stats to start this first race of the evening. And yeah, on our live time page, literally top half, bottom half, with sort of having a good day, having a bad day, which you don't often say, but when we have 47 cars at the start. And I wonder when we get to that second race, because obviously this the result of this race goes into the grid for race 2, how everyone is going to react. Are they going to be a little bit more cautious? We hope so when we get to that second race. But of course, focus on this first race for now, and it's still Oulton leading that way. Haflidason and Lenholm still leading the way out the front. Haflidason is looking very nicely and actually getting a bit of a run there out of the final quarter, up through the dog leap in towards Old Hall Corner. It's going to be down the inside for the number 81 machine. It's a bit of a long run in these cars, side by side, going for the very fast opening corner, just about leaving each other enough space.
Oh, and he got hit from behind. Second and third are going to end up wrecking. Big save, though, by Lenholm. You have to wonder if there's some damage.
Oh, that's so harsh for Haflidason. He was looking very nice there. Lenholm tried to come to his outside, but unfortunately just clipped the bag. And to be honest, he's going to have some suspension damage surely to the end of the race. There's still 2/3 of it to go, albeit it's a short race, but he might struggle a little bit. Solander coming close to him, and that just leaves a 2-car battle at the front for 2 Bright Esports. I know it's their own Grand Prix as such, but that's probably not the way that they would have wanted to get there.
Yeah, not at all. This is just, no one's kept their heads on straight in this race. We're nearing, the halfway point at the completion of lap 6. Nonetheless, no one from the top 7 is competing for anything on the lead lap right now. I mean, drivers who started way back in the field I mean, 47th went up to 19th, 31st went up to 9th. This is just unbelievable. I keep harping on it, but I don't think I've ever seen something quite like that, Cam. And then they got to do it again in, I don't know, a few minutes here.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, it is one of the most carnage-filled opening for sort of 5 laps of a race that we've had. Just going back even to the second corner of the race already into Denton's and then down to Cascades, the fast left-hander. Already contact between the leaders, and it just started an absolute chain reaction. People hitting more people as Hafler Didderson here losing some more positions as he's struggling there down Holmer, getting up the inside. He's going to have Crook looking up the back of him as well. So I think this is going to be a downward spiral for your reigning road course series champion in the Bohlin Svenska iRacing League, and this might be another one up the inside. Is going to be Crook, who manages to defend off that one, so he hasn't given up completely, but definitely struggling a bit for speed.
Yeah, absolutely struggling for that speed. Trying to see what else is going on through the field. Obviously, we're watching a really fantastic battle as we go over the hill side by side. Ooh, not always the best spot to try and go side by side, but survived it for now. But getting into the grass to the left side keeps it back on. You know, the one thing that is a benefit of these F4 machines is that they are limited in power, which also means that they don't rely on downforce as much. They can correct mistakes. Well, theoretically, they can correct them a little bit more easily than they would have been able to otherwise. It's only a 160 brake horsepower limited machine here with the engine, so they're usually a lot of fun to watch, and they've certainly had their entertainment already today.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is definitely one of the best cars that there are on the iRacing services. There, Oulton as well, getting past Hafler. Hafler must have made a bit of a mistake there, actually losing some time to Crook already in the first couple of laps as such. So definitely, more action coming the way for these guys so far. Yeah, definitely one of the better cars that there are. It races really well on all sorts of tracks. Even a track like this that is a bit difficult. Certainly, not necessarily the easiest place to race, but we generally get a really, really good showing. It's just unfortunate that we had so many cars involved in that first corner contact as such, but I definitely think we're going to come back for that second race. As we're seeing on screen, this is the battle for the sort of final place inside the top 10. Neptune there in the 666 machine. Motin is in that 94 on your screen, of course, trying to chase them down. They've got a big gap up ahead of them to Holmerin, so this is really their fight in the sort of final third of the race.
I'm really wondering, do you want to have a good start to your 3-race stretch or a better ending?
I mean, you just want to get the points on it, and the issue is obviously, as we said, the race 2, the grid is from the result of this one. So if you have a bad race and you drop back to 40-something position, that is a lot of places to also come back through in the second race. The issue is with that is obviously also the good thing is that you can get into the reverse grid places, which is going to be the one that we need to look out for. Although 15 out of 47 isn't actually quite too big of a percentage.
Yeah, for sure. This is a battle for first and second, and look at that, a pass at the island hairpin right there. Some great passing opportunities in that zone, but throughout the rest of the circuit, you really have to be careful. Not like that.
Oh, more cars off there, down into the chicane at Hislops, and we've got a car, of course, without a front right wheel, so that is going to be a meatball, and the 52 machine is going to be, probably out of this race at that point. These guys, certainly had Johansson certainly had a very eventful race so far, and it is absolutely continuing. I've got Soda there, the 13 machine, trying to work his way further up the field as it stands. He's not necessarily had the best start in the road course series. He's looking very nice in the ovals, but when it comes to the roads, not quite having the start to the season that he would have wanted. But yeah, certainly very, very tricky time for these guys. They're batting for sort of P12, but yeah, difficult battles as ever. As Holmer there gets past Solander for that third place as the two Bright Esports teammates lead at the front.
This is just absolutely incredible. I'm trying to see what the incident point average was at Barber just a few weeks ago, just to get a good understanding of where we are.
Oh, more cars off for Bright Esports as well. Dan Holmer there from that 79 car dropping down a little bit. He was battling, up there in that third place, and he's had some issues. So there's definitely been more contact as the race one has progressed. The two teammates still lead out the front though. The Bright Esports teammates leading the Bright Esports Presents Oulton Park GP. We're on to the 10th lap of 9, and it's certainly going to be a sort of closing out for those drivers at the front. They don't have too much battles in behind. Oh, they just lose it on his own actually. The 79 there.
Yeah, just a little bit of coming in too hot, trying to take the second part of that chicane quickly, but couldn't get the car slowed down in time. Weird loads on different parts of this open wheel F4 machine obviously leads to a bit of a slide. But the good thing is it looks like everything is okay with Lindholm's car. Hopefully we see this battle for the lead continue on, because the race is coming to a close in just 2 laps and change.
Yeah, certainly is. And wow, what a opening of the evening, I should say. It's been the second round of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's road course series. It's the Formula series with, of course, the Formula 4 cars being such a revelation to the iRacing platform, but it's been absolute carnage here in the first opening laps of Oulton Park. It's left us with a really spread out field. The top two of Oulton and Lindholm leading their own race up towards the front, and yeah, the gaps behind are absolutely crazy. Ormond they're in 20th place. I mean, even laps down. Crazy stuff, or almost lap down I should say. Crazy stuff of how much it's spread out. Still loads of cars, of course, in the pit lane have not rejoined the race, so I think a very tricky one. Just trying to have a look at some of the sort of the best laps, last laps, and yeah, there's definitely a few damaged cars out there, so a few slower lap times down towards the back, as Oulton still leading the way. Lindholm getting close. Are the two teammates going to battle in the final lap and a half?
Yeah, they definitely will, and they should, but it's got to be clean, and there has to be any lunges made has to be a almost certain you will pass kind of lunge. Better entrance there, but a better exit there out of the chicane for Oulton. 21 cars are sitting in pit lane for this entire race, the rest of this race. Some have gotten repairs made and will gain a couple positions, which could be huge for championship standings. If you stay in and get some required repairs, you make 1 lap, well, you've just passed 15-20 cars, so that can definitely be a benefit here. But as we do get there, as close as they've ever been, Lindholm, as we start this final lap right on the gearbox of Oulton.
Bright Esports presents the Oulton Park GP, and one of these Bright Esports cars is going to win this first race of the evening. But who is it going to be? Oulton leads Lindholm with just under 1 lap to go here, and it's certainly been a awesome 12 laps in many ways in terms of the spectacle, not necessarily the racing spectacle that we would have wanted, but what we've seen on the screen. This is the best overtaking opportunity in towards the hairpin, bit of a defensive line as such there from Oulton, and it breaks late enough to hold off from his teammate. Lindholm though is going to be getting closer. This is the other sort of proper overtaking opportunity down this back straight in towards the Hislops chicane, and it's going to have to be a dive up the inside, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough, so he's going to be one last final lunge coming into the final corner.
Yeah, I think that was his last opportunity. I think that that hairpin and then chicane combo was the last chance that Lindholm had to make a move, unless he proves me wrong. This is going to have to be a daring attempt. Druid's corner, not much you can do there. One last, I don't even call it heavy braking, just a medium speed zone in Lodge corner. We're about to come to the start-finish line here.
As race one comes to a close, it's going to be Oulton out of the final corner. Unless his teammate can get the run of his life, it is going to be Oulton for Bright Esports winning the first race of the night for the Bright Esports Presents Oulton Park GP. And I'm sure that's not the way he would have wanted to win it, with all the carnage that we saw in behind by his teammate Lindholm, rounding out a 1-2 finish for them. Solando will come across the line in that third place, but positions in behind still need to be sorted out. Coming up towards the line is getting very close. This is the 666 of Neptune, just holding off from Motin there. That is for 8th position at the end. All cars going off already in that final corner. Dan Solo in the 13 machine goes past one driver, just missing out, unfortunately, in the final couple of positions as we end this first race of the evening, as the drivers then continue to work their way through. It's so difficult for some of these drivers to get to the end with the amount of incidents that we've seen. Is that Feather coming across the line, starting at the back of the field and getting up to about 17th place of all of the carnage.
Unreal. That's a 30 position gain at the end of that race. Just wild stuff. I thought that was a pretty solid race to start off our 3-race slate tonight, wherever you are in the world. But I feel like if we avoid that carnage on the last lap, or the first lap I should say, in this second 12-lap affair that we've got going on, then hey, it could be a really fun day. It's another 12-lap race
followed by
I believe it's a 17-lap race. Here's the
slightly longer for the slightly longer for the final race of the evening, the reverse grid. But here is the results, at least for this first race of the evening. Alexander Oulton there taking victory from Ivan Lenholm, his teammate, just 1/10 behind. Salander, Crook and Orkerson round out your top 5, with Dan Holmerin, Neptune, Motin and Haflidarsson rounding out your top 10. Haflidarsson was looking good to get on that podium with the 2 Bright Esports drivers, but unfortunately just missed out inside that top 10. And of course, basically just one more page of drivers on this lead lap. As such, Bjork, Lindberg round out your top 12. Hammerstrom, Sola, Norgren, Hellberg, Pfeffer there from the back of the grid, 17th place. Forshall, Yunsu as well. There rounding out the top 20 was Bjorn Brostrom. Orman, Loden, Eriksson, your championship leader Jesper Eriksson there in 23rd place. Johansson, Fredriksson, Kinnell, Lindhoff, Eriksson. All these drivers, so many laps down. Strauss, Bjorberg, probably obviously continue the drivers all involved there. Hansen, Grios, Martinson. Just read out a couple of the other names in terms of Orkson as well. But here's the grid for this next race. Olsen and Lenholm, of course, is basically the result that we had on that front race. Lander, Crook, Orkson and Homer rounding out your top 6. Before we get Holmerin, Neptune, Motin, Haflidarsson, Bjork and Lindberg inside your top 12. And then we go to 13th place, which is Hammerstrom, Solo, Norgren, Hellberg, Pfeffer, and Forshall. And as we will just sort of let the rest of the grid run through, a lot of drivers to be named. And Dylan, just your sort of final thoughts on what you can expect coming into this this next race. Do you think the driver's going to take it that little bit more carefully?
I'd like to see that, but here's my trepidation on saying that. Well, everyone that made a mess in the beginning started up front. They're gonna have to make moves quickly. They're starting in the back to make those moves. There might be calamity. They're starting to get going here. Cam, let's get going.
Yeah, race 2 gets underway for the Bright Esports presents Oulton Park GP. Let's hope we have a bit of a cleaner run so far. And it's a quick turnaround as well, so not long for the drivers to calm down and sort of get back into that relaxed mood. Coming in towards, of course, Dentons and then Cascades. This is where all the carnage happened on that previous attempt in the first race, but second time round it looks very good, at least for the leaders. Side by side we are coming through there, looking very nicely as Motin there is on the right-hand side, the outside, coming in towards the island hairpin, and that's going to be a very difficult one, and sliding up the inside is going to be, but everyone looks like they're continuing rather nicely at the front here.
All good so far. We said that the last time, but they have made it a little bit farther than they did last time. Here's going to be the second big passing opportunity. I'm sure we're going to see something happen here, some smoke bellowing in the background, but again, so far so good through most of the top half of the field.
Yeah, that's a bit more like it. And we need to look for some drivers sort of getting loads of positions in this race. Top 15 will be inverted for that third race, so top 15 is the one to look out for by the time we get to the end of this second 12-lap race of the evening. As we come to the end of the first lap, those Olsen leading Lenholm and Salander, your top 3 as we start. Orkson, Holmer inside your top 5. But of course, there's so many drivers trying to work up some positions. We'll be surprised if we get some big movers towards the back of the field. So far, looks like everyone everyone is actually continuing rather nicely. It's just Jonas Schoberg who's dropped off the back, must have had a little bit, and also Hafidi Johansson actually has dropped back, so he must have had an issue. Side by side in towards Cascades is Jesper Eriksson, 15th place, already making up a decent amount of places.
Two cars are coming down pit lane, starting 24th, 30th and 36th. One driver off track, some issues happening in the back, but Jesper Eriksson trying to build up some more spots, up 8 in this race already. Eriksson, he wants this championship, he wants to compete for it, but he's kind of boxed in right here. No way you can take this 3 wide. It's a one kind of move place, but he could maybe move through the inside here, coming through the next set of corners.
Yeah, lovely move there, and what he's actually looking to do is get himself nicely in towards these reverse grid places, as here's Ullman. There's a couple of places behind and trying to get himself up into that top 15 battle, and that'll be very nice for him. We saw him go very slowly, and Dear Leap at the the final kink as such, having some issues on that first lap for the Oulton Tech driver, but so that'd be very nice. Oh, that's a lock up for the car ahead, and that is going to be, he goes wide himself. Cars come through, and all sorts of things have happened there, but he sort of stayed in the same place, lost one and gained one.
That is a sympathy slide off if I've ever seen one. You ever get into almost a trance when you're shadow driving someone in front of you? I should say mirroring. Shadow driving is when you're the one in front, kind of just watching your shadows, watching behind you. Mirror driving, well, it's the same thing. You know what I'm trying to say. It can put you in a trance, and then you can make a mistake like that, as we see some moves being made here at the hairpin, coming up the hilltop, aptly named straight away, and then heading into the chicane.
Yeah, up over the hill, and it is quite a hill actually. Then it drops all the way down, and this is a really good overtaking opportunity, and that's why you've seen cars go side by side, and so it just in general have some really good battles here. It is a tricky exit though here through Knickerbocker. It's almost sort of kind of flat out, but it's very, very tricky. It's up the hill, through past the water tower. That's not always an overtaking opportunity in towards Druids, but certainly a potential opportunity up the inside. It's going to be Dan Stolly's going to have to back out to that one. Eriksson is going to try and find his way through, but maybe not quite enough to having enough momentum down now in towards Lodge Corner, the final sort of corner of the track so far. Is going to be any move up the inside. There's Eriksson now is having to defend himself. I think it's Fredriksson trying to get past, as we had a change for the lead. Lenholm has got past Olsen as we start this sort of fourth lap of the race, and finally after following his teammate for so long over the first couple of races, he's got the lead.
Yep, got the lead right now. Let's see if he unleashes himself and just starts to drive away from the field. You see everybody else following close behind, just not close enough to make moves as we head into the hairpin. Big mess in behind. 7th place runner Michael Hoflidason gets launched over. His right rear got connected with, and looks like he's fine. Maybe some suspension damage, but he carries on.
2 races in a row potentially for driving with damage, and he now needs to look in his mirrors, because Jesper Eriksson has made his way up into that 11th place behind. We've got Neptune and Motin continuing their battle just behind this as well. So this is actually looking really nice for Jesper Eriksson, and this is what happens. Oh no, he's facing the wrong way already at this point. Is he going to rejoin into someone? I know we're going to go back to see how he ended up just off the track. He's trying to get in the slipstream there, coming to the inside. That's always a tricky one. It's such a tight hairpin, and just locks the rear and sends himself over the top of his opponent. That is not the way that you would have wanted it. It was actually sort of a nicer rejoin as such, considering he went up in the air. He carried on nicely.
That could have been a horrific rejoin, but it ended up being the absolute perfection of the timing there for him to get back going underway. I mean, he's already just pretty much at the same speeds as everybody else is at that hairpin, and they're going up the hill, so they're all at slower speeds, as we still see this whole mess going on, still side by side. Moten had to pull out of it real quick. He's going to lose 1, 2, how about 3 spots potentially here?
Oh yeah, sometimes when you get a bad run, look at all the cars that are coming in behind you. And it's very difficult to stop that momentum until you get to the next corner. Force Motin dropping down a lot of places. But look at that. There's actually quite a big train there for that sort of position on the track. There's sort of P19 for Motin. So everyone's sort of 15th place down to, what's that, about 23rd, 22nd place. Big train. So you can make up some positions, especially if some drivers start making some mistakes around you. Remember, they're all trying to get up inside the top 15, because that is the invert for the final race. And currently, Tobias Olsen is holding that one up 26 places for Tobias Oulton. That is a really good, strong start to this second race. Of course, so strong in that first round, but got caught up in that contact in that first race.
There's nothing I love more than seeing a big field going at it with fights happening all around the circuit. 40 cars are still on track and on the lead lap right now. Well, some of them have come down pit lane, which still keeps us as around 38 F4 cars out there, which is really nice. That's a lot of machines right in front of Tobias Oulton. 3 of them he can overtake pretty quickly, but we rejoin with Michael Hoflidison. We'll see exactly what he's looking at. Lost a few more spots there. We'll see if exactly he's got any damage. I mean, he's not falling back too much, but he definitely lost more than he gained right there.
I'm trying to see on his wheel. It doesn't look, it doesn't really look bent or anything like that. But it, might just be something in the rear that is off. Although actually, having said that, these are actually fairly fast corners, especially this one in Knickerberg. Oh, a little bit unstable on the rear, but that might just be the sort of the style to get through that corner, to be honest. So, a bit hard to see. I think he might have gotten away with that one because he's really holding on to that battle inside that top 10. That's Jesper Eriksson in that 10th place ahead of him, really looking to work his way up. He's got Philip Bjork and Johan Lindberg just up ahead. Up the inside it is going to be for Eriksson in towards the final corner at Lodge. Can he make it up the inside? Such a tricky, tight braking zone, but he's made it work and he gets up into top 9.
To me, that's a braking zone that it's really, I'm passing you or we're both going out, and the driver on the outside has to kind of just let the spot up. It's really he who blinks first loses that position there. Really, the last 2 main corners, you should not be going side by side unless you're already down the inside and almost your corner at that point where your wing is much farther out in front.
Not a nice corner ready to go racing because it's actually just a little bit more than 90 degrees, so it sort of pinches you on the exit. So if you're hang out to dry on the outside, it's very, very difficult. Here's Oulton, another Bright Esports driver, trying to make it 3 on the podium. You've got another teammate of Crook in behind, and he's trying to go side by side. That's so close between the two. Around the outside of Druids, they're giving each other just about enough space. Lovely side by side battling it in towards Lodge corner, and this is what I was saying a couple of seconds ago. Around the outside of Lodge, that's not where you want to be. He's going to try and make it work though. They give each other the space as they come onto the front straight.
Gave each other the space. And that was your perfect example of what good side-by-side racing looks like there. But it immediately loses so much time for both of you. And look at that big fight. A big slide over the curbing for Salander. Holmer is right there trying to pounce.
And I think he's going to have the inside line. Yes, he is in towards Cascades. This pinches just once more, but they still continue to give each other room. A lovely, respectful, clean racing. This is what we expected. And unfortunately, what we didn't get in that first race. Land on the inside. Contact is made between the two. And unfortunately, there goes Homer. He's pushed around and he's not going to have to, not going to be able to rejoin very nicely there in the hairpin. And unfortunately, he's going to be dropping back. That was almost looking for a Bright Esports 1, 2, 3, 4. But unfortunately, he drops back.
Did you not just say this is exactly what we're looking for, clean racing, and then that happens?
Commentator's curse. I know Lewis McGlade says this doesn't exist, but it does. We got nice racing for half a lap. I said, oh, this is nice racing, and then unfortunately some contact.
Yeah, it's like you never want to say for any Americans watching this baseball, you don't want to say a perfect game before it happens, because when you say that, you know the perfect game is not going to happen anymore. This is a good fight in front. Philip Bjork and Michael Hoflidison. Hoflidison trying to make some moves, trying to get back into the top 10. He goes down the inside with a bit of a late lunge. Oh, he slid right in front of Philip Bjork. And wow, that was full commitment there at Lodge Corner, and he got the move done.
On his teammate as well at AM Racing. Definitely a tricky one, but he's made it stick. We're on to lap 9 of 12 for this second race of the evening. We still got one final race. It's going to be a 17-lap race, slightly longer, but with the top 15 inverted. So that is a fight to look out for in the final few laps of this race, is who gets that P15 in the reverse grid pole. And of course, everyone ahead of that will be inverted accordingly with that one. As it stands, Lenholm Oulton leading the way. They've got a huge gap to Oulton in that third place, with Salander in fourth, and then the battles continue all the way down to this P9 battle that we've seen with Bjork just in behind his teammate there, Hoflidison, making it up. So these guys should be pretty comfortable inside that top 15, but yeah, you never know with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, with wow, it's kind of wild just hearing you say 3 laps to go. I can't believe we're about to get to that point here. What a quick, 2 races. Obviously, it's only 12 minutes, and these laps are under a minute and 20 seconds in length. So it does go by quick, but just seeing it happen is one thing compared to hearing it. This move, Bjork is not close enough to make any of that, but Daniel Holmer is right in behind Bjork, and he got a little bit off track right in the mirrors there. This is going to be an interesting battle to see who gets this top 10 spot.
Yeah, certainly. And I think Holmer's going to want to come back, being pushed out there a few laps ago, battling into the island hairpin. He'll definitely want to be getting up some of those positions lost. Here's Bjork, though, coming through Cascades. It's such a tricky exit. He's actually got the run on his teammate. Is he going to start fighting back, or is he just lifting off maybe a little bit there to knock dive up the inside of the number 81? But the issue is up the inside of him is Dan Holmer, and there's going to be room just in the background as well for another car. Is that Arvidsson? Yeah, Arvidsson trying to get a bit of run on the grass as we come over the hilltop down the inside. Arvidsson's going to have a lovely move up 25 places, make that 26 if he can keep this over through the chicane, round the outside. Managed to make it work. Here comes Tobias Oulton in the background too.
That's 2 spots in just 2 corners, but Philip Bjork did himself no favors right there. Why in the world was he driving half on the grass, half on the tarmac? I mean, that wasn't even
race so far. Just he's showing sort of the prowess that he's had up the inside in towards Lodge, and gets another position. That's already on to lap 11 off 12 here for this second race of the evening. The Bright Esports presents Oulton Park GP, the second event of the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's road course series for 2023. Side by side, Dan Holmer is going to be up the inside of Cascades. He's going to have Arvidsson all the way around the outside. They leave each other space onto this back straight. Oulton is actually getting the slipstream on his teammate. 3 wide in towards the hairpin. This isn't going to end well. Who's going to back out of that one? Holmer breaks so late. He knows he has to try and hold on to that one, but unfortunately for him, the 2 teammates go through.
Last of the late breakers, just a little bit too much of the word last in that one. But another passing opportunity. I don't think we're going to see any side-by-side action at the entry or the exit of this chicane. All the drivers get a pretty good drive through that, so no gain is going to be made there.
Yeah, difficult sort of up and down race for some of these drivers, and certainly some crazy battles so far in the first 2 races, which just has 1 lap to go for these drivers to find out what their starting position is going to be for the 3rd race. Top 15 inverted. Everyone below that will start in the position that they finish this one, and it'll be a slightly longer race for that one. Final lap time, Lemholm leads with a bit of a gap now to his teammate Oulton in that 2nd place, but other Oulton has his teammate as well for that 10th place to battle on the final lap. But here's your Bright Esports driver winning their own race so far. Just needs to hold it with half a lap to go.
Good battle going on here just outside the top 10. We see as Isaac Arvidsson, as we've talked about Arvidsson a lot in this race, and this is going to be an interesting slide. A little bit of a wiggle under braking. 4 cars under a blanket with half a lap to go here for a spot inside not just the top 10, but for 9th.
Absolutely. Haflidarsson there, AM Racing, holding on from the 2 Simrace Sweden cars, as that's Oulton in the 91, and in the 113 he's got Arvidsson trying to chase him down. Are they going to battle, or are they going to focus on at least trying to get 1 car past Haflidarsson there for that 9th position? But into the final corner, it's going to be Lenholm for Bright Esports, taking a Bright Esports 1-2 for the 2nd race of the evening. This time he managed to get past his teammate, and they swap around. It's Lenholm from Oulton as they come across the line to finish the 2nd race. Congratulations to them. The 263 machine takes victory, but who is going to get this 9th place around the outside? It's going to be Arvidsson gets his teammate. Can he get Haflidarsson as well as they get the run up towards the line? They have a bit of a bad exit actually. Oulton's going to get back past his teammate. Is there going to be any final moves up towards the line? No. Haflidarsson just about holding on to that one, with Oulton in 2nd place and Arvidsson, who thought he had his teammate but not quite getting there at the end. What a finish.
That was a wonderful finish, and just great boxing out that Haflidarsson did right there. Still some battles left to go before we cross the line for good, but goodness, we still have 30 seconds until some drivers cross here.
Yeah, definitely spread out a little bit once more. We did end up with about 6-7 cars, maybe no, a little bit more than 8 cars maybe DNFing from that one. So still a few crashes here and there, but a lot better than what we saw in that first race as the drivers continue to finish their second race of the evening, and they will get just a few minutes break. Actually, there was a very short turnaround between race 1 and 2, but they get a little bit of a break before the reverse grid. Here is your results though for the second race of the evening. Lindholm from Oulton at the front of the race for Bright Esports, with Augustin and Salander rounding out your top 4. Crook and Jesper Eriksson jumping up into P6, your championship leader before this evening. He'll be certainly liking that one a little bit more. Holmerin, Lindberg, Hafler and Tobias Olsen round out your top 10. Interesting, David Johansson got the fastest lap, but you have to wait for his name for quite a long time, as Arvidsson 11th, Dan Holmer in 12th place, Bjork, Lindhoff, Martinsen, and there is David Johansson 20 seconds off the lead, but he got the fastest lap on lap 9. Giros is in 17th place, Hellberg, Fredriksson and Nordgren round out your top 20. Hammerstrom, Motin and Green round up your top 23, with Headforce, Lundberg and Solo inside your top 26. Wallingston, Strauss, Bjork and Seglerson inside your top 30. These drivers still on the lead lap, including Pfeffer, Brostum, Neptun, Lundgren and Loden, your last driver on the lead lap, and then your whole host of drivers having some issues, Drods, and then we'll just run you through the final few drivers there to take you through the results for the second race of the evening. But as the drivers work themselves into a little bit of a warm-up, we'll use this opportunity to get a few messages from our sponsors.
Behöver du en bil? Mabe hyrbilar finns på över 150 platser i landet och vi har nästan lika många modeller att välja på. Mabe hyrbilar. Hyrbilar som passar dig.
Hos Bright Esports i Västerås kan du testa på både Nascar och olika formulabilar, precis som Svenska Eracingligan deltagare. Gå in på brightesports.com och boka just din tid.
And welcome back to Oulton Park for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan's road course series. And for the Formula 4 cars, it's been a very chaotic first couple of races of the evening. We've got the reverse grid race coming up for you in just a couple of moments time, but we'll use the opportunity to speak to the winner of that second race, Ivan Lindholm. For you, especially in your team, awesome result, but just how was that, especially that first race from your perspective? There were cars going off left, right and center.
Yeah, it was chaotic. I didn't know where to go, so I took a chance and it worked out, and we took the win and the second place, so it was really good.
And then, of course, in that second race, you managed to overtake your teammates. So a little bit more of a quiet race, but did you sort of really want to beat your teammate in this, obviously this race that you're sponsoring as well?
Yeah, of course, but we would like to see my pace in clean air, and if I was faster, I could go in front and take the win. So good teamwork.
Yeah, definitely. And now you, of course, drop back to 15th place. What progress do you think you can make? As we've seen, the first lap has, a potential for quite a few crashes.
Yeah, I'll do my best. It will be chaotic, I think, but I'm quite good at navigating through traffic, I think. So I hope I can take some places at least.
Absolutely. And yeah, race 3 coming up, so we'll let you go and prepare for that one, and yeah, enjoy the 3rd race.
Yep, thank you.
So Dylan, certainly a tough one for him. He needs to get that, so P15 and now got up the grid. What progress do you think he can make?
Well, I think there's definitely some progress to be made. Where is he starting again?
15th. Top
15th.
15.
Okay,
yeah.
so I was watching, him throughout the first race, and obviously he wasn't loving being right behind his teammate. He did get that win with that lunge going about midway through race 2. In total, I think it's going to be important for them, he, Oulton, and other, Bright Esports teammates to just take it calm. You probably won't get the win here, but it is very important to just make sure you finish in the top 10 without any issues.
And what you have to remember is we also have 12 races to go after this one this season. But here's your grid for the 3rd round. We have David Johansson on that pole position with Martinsen alongside him. Lindhoff and Philip Bjork will round out your top 4. Dan Holmer and Isaac Arvidsson are inside your top 6. Tobias Olsen is in 7th place with Michael Hafledarsen is in 8th place. Lindberg and Jesper Eriksson are inside your top 10 with Crook and Salander for your front 6 rows. Aukson and Olsen are there to round out your top 14, and then 15 places, even Lenholm, your winner of that 2nd race. Girossen, Hellberg, and then Oscar Fredriksson inside your top 18. Nordgren, Hammerström, Moten Green, Headfords, and Lundberg inside your top 24. We'll let the rest of the drivers just work their way down. Certainly a lot of drivers on this field. Let's see how this 3rd race goes. We know that the reverse grid can often have a sort of bunching effect up towards the front where you get some of the faster drivers into the mid-pack, and now they're working their way forward, so that can always be some potential for some opening lap carnage. 17 laps though, so slightly longer, 5 laps longer. Dylan, how do you think that's going to change the dynamic knowing that they've got that bit longer?
I just think it's going to be harder racing for longer. Not necessarily that they'll try to make moves over a longer period of time. I still think it's going to be go, go, go. And from that point on, I still, think we might have it strung out a bit at the end. We'll have to see, though, as the competitors are gridding up here. A familiar sight for us today. I'm excited. This, it's a 17-lap feature event. Both of the previous races, obviously, just as important, but there's a finality of it right here.
So your pole position driver for this race is David Johansson. He's currently sitting 5th place in the championship for Sim Racing Grid. And definitely wants to be making up some positions with that one after a tricky couple of races. But he's been given the reverse grid pole, and let's see what he does from the front row of the grid. 17-lap race coming your way for the final race of the evening. And here we go underway for the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan. And there's a couple of drivers there. Of course, wheel spinning 4 wide as we come in towards Old Hall Corner. Someone's got to back out of that one. Looks like it's going to be the 44 machine there. Oh, contact already on the exit. The number 8 goes off, rejoins.
Oh, there's a mess in the back.
Towards loads of cars, and yet definitely some things happening in the background too.
Yeah, cars battling just around 20th place. You see that we're just connected there at the front and rear wings just for a moment. But we carry on with some competitors battling it out for the lead.
Or as Johansson there is having to defend as he's got Mattis Martinsson trying to get past him in that number 15 Sim Race Sweden. It's actually the 3 teammates are coming for this race lead around the outside. It's going to be in towards Hislops. That's an awesome move if he can complete it. And yes, he can. Martinsson goes towards the front. He's got his 2 teammates coming through with him. Johansson's going to have a lot of work here.
Yeah, what a move right there for Mattis Martinsson. Johansson, though, he is under threat. He's under pressure. We'll see if he's able to keep that position side by side, though. Fast corner. He loses the position, has to block off. Might have gotten hit in the gearbox.
Yeah, I think Olsen made some contact there. He tried to follow his teammates through up the inside in towards Lodge Corner. He's going to have to back out of that one. Further contact. The 62 machine has gone around there. So much contact already in the first couple. That's a Hammerström there. Unfortunately, losing that few places. Up the inside is going to be for Tobias Olsen in towards the first corner. Is it actually going to be, though? He's going to break late enough.
No!
Oh, huge contact. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall.
Oh, no!
And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position driver gets sent into the wall. And your pole position dri
Oh no. Johansson was under pressure. Couldn't necessarily deal with the heat. Yeah, maybe there was a bit of a slide in front, but I just think Johansson put himself in that unfortunate situation. We'll have to see a replay later on, but as we see 3 wide heading into the hairpin, so much contact right there. How no one flipped, well, there's a spinner, was beyond me.
Yes, Salander there was that spinner in the foreground, but also contact between the 44. That's Bjork, and then Lindhoff in the 8 machine around the outside of Oulton. Did Oulton have some sort of slowdown or something? Really losing a lot of time there. He's fighting for that 3rd place, now dropped down to 8th. So definitely not having the first few corners of this lap that he would have wanted. His teammates absolutely romping off at the front though. Martinson and Arvidsson leading the way. As we come off through, wow, past the water tower, contact, and Oulton there going onto the grass.
Oh boy. This Oulton Park might need to look into the Oulton lawnmower service right there. Here's a replay. I mean,
yeah, Oulton was coming in very hot, but at the same time, as you say, Johansson was, there's a car off there.
Yeah,
at the final corner. It's so fast, didn't quite see exactly who it was, but it's definitely a car not making it in towards the final corner. As up the inside is going to be that number 8 machine of Lindhoff. Once again, he's got the 40 for Bjork, and then Tobias Oulton still continuing their battle this time around. As we come through, Denton's there still side by side around Cascades. It's going to be Oulton in the outside in that black machine. Oh, the number 8, he's completely gone off there. Lindhoff, don't think there was contact, just went in there way too fast. And oh my God, what is happening at Oulton Park today? It's been absolutely crazy style of racing as we get Dan Holmer there up the inside as well of Philip Bjork.
Yeah, this is a wild one, ain't it? It's a lot of fun, and what did I say? We weren't going to see any lessening of the action. As a matter of fact, I think we're seeing more intensity than we saw at the beginning of race 2. That's a lunge.
Oh, certainly is, as Bjork there just about trying to hold on. He's got a couple of bright esports cars. These are actually the Oulton and Lindholm. These are who finished 1 and 2 in the previous 2 races so far this evening, trying to work their way through at their own race. Bright Esports presents Oulton Park GP, and up the inside, it is going to be for Oulton if he can make it work in towards Druid side by side. Bjork just keeps it on the track, and a nice clean move there, but certainly risky as Arvidsson goes to the front past his teammate here at the end of lap 3.
So, you don't think that these two aren't going to be wild in their battle, because they've been very intense today as we get a replay here of those two in particular.
Was that a swap around, do you think? There was a lot more overspeed than you would expect in towards that final corners. Oh my God, we've got 5 cars coming in towards Cascades around the outside.
My feelings exactly.
Yeah, Lindholm has made his way through all of these guys. Oulton has dropped down, and of course, so many cars in there. Bjork is potentially going to be losing a lot of positions in here. We've got Gyros involved in this one. Oh, sure, that is going to be, unfortunately, that's Lindholm. He's gone for a spin. Didn't see quite if there was contact, but he's lost out many, many places there. Look at all these cars in behind us. Fredrickson, that 112, the 123 as well. Head forwards gets reversed into, unfortunately, as the contact continues.
It will never make sense to me how many times drivers just don't be a little bit patient to preserve their car and not make people angrier than they might already have been. Just keep your heads up when you're reversing or trying to get the car merged back onto the track. Just a little reminder from someone who's spun out way too many times.
Yeah, it is a tricky one. The Fredrickson actually, first of all, dives up the inside into that final corner. Late move. I think he's just about avoided contact, but it's very awkward indeed. Trying to get past Oulton. Now he's going to have the inside for Old Hall Corner. Of course, need to look out. So they got Lindhoff just in behind that number 8 machine side by side in towards turn 1. Lindhoff also dives it up the inside there. There might be 2 places lost for Oulton as they run onto the AstroTurf there on the exit of that first corner. Looks like going to be able to hold on though. Fredrickson in the 112 machine up the inside has completed that move eventually, but that wasn't without some risk.
Yeah, I feel like every move at this track is with some risk. He's going to try and make a move on the outside. Olsen is on Fredrickson. Can't do it. He opens himself up to competition from Lindhoff in behind. And now they're going to be side by side heading to the chicane, but a really good drive off right there from Alexander Olsen to just merge a little bit ahead.
There's contact there, the number 8 of Lindhoff. To me, it looked like that 292 car was turning in quite aggressively into that first apex. Definitely didn't have the clear run into that corner. Had to sort of leave space on the inside, but didn't from that view at least. Unfortunately, one of your race winners this evening is dropping back, just showing you how difficult these reverse races are. As we're finishing lap 5, Arvidsson leads Martinsen, but they got to be looking out because Jesper Eriksson, the number 37, is coming for them.
We'll get a replay here, and I want to hear your take on it. That was barely a wheel's, half a wheel's diameter that was in there. So a wheel's radius, if you want to be particular, but that was in there down the inside. You almost feel like, as Olsen's actually coming down pit lane, you almost feel like, it's road racing.
Oh, huge lock up. Sorry to cut you off too deep there for the 15 of Martinsen. He's gone around the wrong sort of layout.
Hey, it's all good.
It was the Britain chicane that we're not using today. Eriksson takes the lead. Arvidsson into second. Haflerdarsson third. And Martinsen there, unfortunately, sort of ruined it for his own teammate. Dropped down to fourth.
Just a joker lap right there. Just trying to get the
long lap penalty.
Yeah, it's the long lap penalty there for him. But going back, wrapping up what I said about that previous incident, road course race and open wheel cars, just having a little bit of your tire, a little bit of your front wing side by side is not enough to warrant, I'd say absolute respect as we see a replay of him going off track around the cones. Cones are okay. They're alive. Well, those weren't.
Yeah, so what he was doing was he was braking late to defend from Eriksson. The issue is he's probably too busy looking in his mirrors, then looked up, saw his own teammate of Arvidsson, and realised, I'm going to hit there. And then Arvidsson had to avoid him, and it was just a very awkward moment there. But as we come back to this battle, lap 7 of 17 is going to be Eriksson in the black and red machine, and then we got Arvidsson in the black and yellow and blue machine there, fighting for your top 2 positions as it stands. Haflerdarsson there, he's had an up and down day, but he's currently looking at a podium to finish off the evening with Martinsen in 4th place, the teammate of Arvidsson there in that 1:13. So once again, we sort of got a little bit of a battle up towards the front. We've got a big gap to Oulton back behind in that 5th place, and then some further gaps continuing inside that top 10. So it's definitely been a tricky event here for the second round of the season, and maybe when the drivers get to some more open tracks, it'll be a little bit cleaner.
You hope. Do I expect it? I don't know about that.
Yeah, they definitely like to be quite aggressive with the overtaking. To be honest, you do have to. When it's sprint racing, when there's so many cars, it's either pass or be passed. The issue is when there's so many cars, there's too many variables, unfortunately, in those first couple of laps especially. But when you get down to this is when hard racing happens, as Jesper Eriksson leads across the line. We split into 2 sort of side-by-side battles as such inside your top 4, as Arvidsson is getting closer.
He is getting much closer right now. 37th place finish from 3rd on the grid. What is this? Who is this? Whoa, man.
The number 100 machine has had some issues there at the final corner, and always again the 75 has also gone around. That is Jonas Sjöberg in the final corner. Wow, final corner really catching out quite a few drivers there.
It's a difficult corner to get right on an easy drive, and it's even more difficult when you're worried about who's in front of you and who's ahead of you. And yeah, there's not much turbulent air that you really got to worry about to keep downforce on these cars, but I also think the elevation changes and the change in overall load is definitely playing a factor through some of these corners, especially the final one, because Deer Leap, it literally is like a deer leap. It is, you jump high into the air when you're going up that run to the start finish line.
Yeah, that's one thing about these Oulton British circuits. It's not just turn 1, turn 2. All of the corners have names, and most of them are for a reason. And talking about reason, Jesper Eriksson is defending to the inside, and that's because Arvidsson is getting closer. Eriksson leads another lap, but Arvidsson is really there. And to be honest, these guys' best lap times are within 1/100th of a second of each other. They are identical on their pace. They just need to try and find a way past. The issue is when you're so identical like that, it's actually difficult to overtake because you're both braking at the same point, both accelerating at the same point. As in the background, is that Martinsen? Can he finally find his braking point? No, he can't. I thought he was going to look to an inside move there on Haflerdarsson, but not enough. But he's also closing in as they're just slightly dropping off now from the top 2.
Yeah, it seems like it's a battle between the top 2 runners for this race. There's no doubt, though, that 3rd, 4th, and hey, if those even get together, then 5th on back could potentially get involved in a battle here if these two make contact, because we still have a lot of action left in this race, and they're racing hard and they're racing close together.
Yeah, they certainly are. They've still got quite a few laps actually to try and make this move. So Arvidsson can actually have some opportunities, some choices in opportunities. Around the outside is going to be as Ericsson once again defends to the inside as he has the run out of the final corner. The issue is when you defend to the inside like that, you're tighter on the apex, you're slower, so your exit speed also is slower, and that gives Arvidsson a run once more in towards turn one. So Ericsson needs to be careful with his defense there to not over defend as such, but he's doing a really good job of it so far, and it's actually working out because, as I was mentioning, they have pulled away massively from the Hafthadarsson battle in behind, so it is literally just this two-way battle. Oh, there's been huge contact. Cars without rear wings. That's coming in towards Hislops into the chicane at the bottom of the hill, and two cars involved, so one would assume they had the contact between themselves.
We'll catch a replay here, and it just looks like the 52 held its line, and the orange light car didn't quite see who that was, what number it was.
Fede Johansson, that was the number 52 machine there, just making some contact in towards that braking zone, and it's so easily done. But when you got cars sort of moving across like that, yeah, you could just so easily have a bit of contact that you would obviously otherwise avoid. And unfortunately, we've seen actually in this race quite a few DNFs as well. We're on to about 33 cars still out on the track, and a couple others they've had repairs and have come out by about 7-8 laps down as we're completing lap 10 of 17 here, the final race of the evening. Ericsson leaves Arvidsson still at the front as they continue to pull away from that battle. That Martin now has got past for that third place. Hafthadarsson has dropped down to fourth after defending for so long. At the number 15 though, up onto the podium.
So we kind of rejoin some of these battles happening higher up the field, and we obviously see that these drivers are just not giving up, and that's what I love. This is just some good racing. Some lap traffic might play a factor. You see the leaders there, and then the battle for the final spot on the podium right here. They come around that island hairpin, up the hill to the chicane. We still, yes, we're halfway through, but 6 laps and change left, man. There's so much time for more scripts to, go through revisions and before we get to our final copy.
Yeah, it seems like with this lap, it's quite short, as we're mentioning, about 1 minute 18 or so per lap, 1 minute 19 for the lap, but they seem to be sort of a lot of things actually happen on within those few kilometers of this track. It's certainly got a lot of tricky corners around here as Ericsson continues to lead. Arvidsson, he's looking more and more, actually. He's getting more opportunities to have a look up the inside, but things for Ericsson, he's won sort of 3 events in a row now. Back at Kansas, then he won a couple of races at Barber for this series, which of course the week later then he won last time out as well in the oval, and now we're back to the road course, and he might get himself another race victory. So that'll be 4 weeks in a row in the Bohlin Svenska Eracingligan, and that he would get a victory, which just shows you he's probably the most dominant driver in this series as it stands. Oh, huge contact there with the 292. That is your race winner from earlier, but that is a massive piece of contact.
Yeah, that's a huge bit of contact. Body parts flying everywhere from, just winglets and everything that you can find on these F4 machines. But I feel like nothing will ever come close to what we saw in lap 1, turn 1, ever in any race coming up or before. But Arvidsson, Ericsson, great battle going on here. Big run from Arvidsson. I think Ericsson cut him off, though. Takes the inside. Arvidsson wanted to follow him. Are they going to be side by side here?
I think they're into the braking zone, and this is that's good positioning there from the 113, because that's going to slow Ericsson down onto this front straight. But Ericsson actually seems to get a good run, although actually not this time around. He's having to defend hard towards the pit wall there through that first part of the first corner. Now Old Hall is going to be around the outside. Ericsson keeps that one, because Arvidsson knows what's going to happen if he does that. But once again, he's definitely got the speed up towards Dentons and Cascades. It's going to be the outside once again. Ericsson on the inside, battling for the lead here. Lap 13 of 17, a few to go remaining, but Ericsson still holds on. on. Arvidsson just can't seem to find a way through. Ericsson putting his car in the perfect position up to the inside now off the island hairpin. That's going to be very slow around the outside. Don't often see that, so Arvidsson has to back out of it once more. Ericsson doing such a good job in the lead.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of what clean defense looks like, but I think we also have to give Isaac Arvidsson right now some credit. He's not trying to do anything too brash, too last second, too last minute, too unpredictable. It's been some good, fair, clean fighting, and it's really hard to find that kind of battle between two competitors who want this win so badly. We'll see if it stays that way. I thought we were going to see another commentator's curse right there. They're going to be side by side, so let me hold my breath for a moment more.
Yeah, once again, when you defend to the inside, you have such a bad run on the next. So round the outside is going to be for Arvidsson. Can he make it work? Is there going to be contact? No, they leave each other space on the exit. Awesome racing between these two, wheel to wheel for the race lead in this final race of the evening. It's still going to be Ericsson on the inside in that black and red number 37 as Arvidsson goes to the outside in the first corner for another lap around. He gets the run, though, up towards Dentons and Cascades. He had a good time of it this time. One lap ago. Can he finally make the move around the outside? No, once again, backs out of it. Ericsson is putting his car in all the perfect places.
Look at that.
He's managing to hold on, but looking behind, Martinson is getting close.
Yeah, getting really close. That fighting helped them out so much, Martinson and Haflidason, to get into this battle. Ericsson, Arvidsson. I mean, this is a showcase in how to defend and how to attack cleanly. I am loving that. Is just the perfect 2 laps of competition right there. We'll see if it stays that way, though, with 2 more extra players coming to the party.
Yeah, this is some high level racing. It's awesome stuff. Absolutely loving this battle so far. Ericsson once again defending to the inside of Druids. Oh, around the outside for Arvidsson. He hasn't tried it here so far. Is it going to work? Yes. Ericsson just about leaves him space. He swaps to the inside, though. They've got some lap traffic. That's going to block the space, actually, to the inside. So Ericsson covers that one off. And into the final corner is going to be Arvidsson around the outside once again. Going to try and get the switch back, trying to get a bit of a better run up towards Old Hall Corner. And that first corners. We've got 3 laps to go in this race. Hard to the inside wall. Once more is going to be there behind the fence, but we still see Ericsson leading the way as he comes back, just about holding on, and he's doing everything that he needs. The issue is it's going to be a 4-way battle by the time we get to the final couple laps to the outside as it is now. Arvidsson once more, he needs to try and do something a little bit different. He's trying it in the same place every lap. He needs to find just a way to dive down the inside somewhere.
Look at this, a little bit of a crossover, trying to get a move done on the outside. Opens up the door for competition, and behind 4 cars under a blanket with just 2.5 laps to go.
Absolutely loving this one. Ericsson, he's doing so well to defend. He's done it for about 10 laps now. Around the outside for Arvidsson. This could work. He's on the grass, though. There's a tyre wall, so they have to be careful of that one. Here comes his teammates side by side, 2 deep through Knickerbrook. Don't always see that one.
Contact.
Bit of wheel banging a contact as we come up the hill once more. And that's actually let Martinson through. They get up into 1-2 for Sim Race Sweden. They're absolutely loving that one. And Ericsson drops down to 3rd place.
What a set of moments there. Jesper Ericsson goes from leading the race to going into 3rd, and now we're going to have to see all that aggression in defense be translated to aggression in attack. Oh, he goes off track, saves it. Martinson, I don't think he's happy at all right there with Ericsson. Ericsson's getting past, 2 laps to go, potentially a chance for Arvidsson to just run away.
Wow, Ericsson 3 places in 1 lap. He was looking so calm out the front. The issue is that all that battling meant that they just lost time, and it turned into a 4-way battle. If it remained that 1v1, he might have had a good opportunity to the end of the race, but that is still an incredible race from Ericsson. He's still up 6 places, but certainly a tough one for him. He might not be getting that race winners. All huge start in the XAF for Haflidason. Does Ericsson have enough to come back? One thing we haven't really spoken about is because it's a 17-lap race, tyres might actually come into it. If you sort of save your tyres a little bit and have a bit more grip in those final couple laps, that'll certainly be very important. Look at those big tyre stacks on the inside. That is why they had to avoid the apex, and Ericsson got pushed out a little bit at that corner last time.
Look at the camera shake right there. He's got that webcam set up on his rig, meaning it's kind of moving with his motion. He smiles right there. He's looking all around. I mean, at this point, unfortunately for him, he's now got to worry about defending 4th because 5th is there as well. Tobias Olsen right in behind Ericsson. I mean, this race, is there one last wrinkle in it? Martinson is around 5 car lengths back, if not more, to his teammate. And Arvidsson, we begin the finale, the last lap of this 3-race exponential.
Yeah, last lap of the evening, and is there a final twist in the tail? As it stands, Arvidsson leads Martinsson for a 1-2 for Sim Race Sweden Esports. They will be loving that one. We had a 1-2 for Bright Esports in the first 2 races. Can we see that from a different team in this final race? Haflidarsson is in 3rd, Ericsson is in 5th place, and Oulton in your top 5. And in theory, any of them could get on the podium if something happens in these final couple of corners, but they are a little bit spread out. Don't think there's going to be any moves, but let's see if someone wants to try something crazy or if any big mistakes happen.
I just don't see it. There's got to be some really good traction that comes out of one of these faster corners with heavy braking before getting right on to the acceleration up and down a hill. Maybe lap traffic gets involved, because right now Arvidsson is catching up to Joan Su, who is the only one that could potentially get involved, opens the door potentially up.
Yeah, but I think he's going to get out of the way, or potentially coming through that final corner. But it's going to be Arvidsson into that final corner, leading the way. He had to work hard for it, but he's going to take the final race victory of the evening and complete the Bright Esports Presents Oulton Park GP with a victory. Martin, his teammate, gets in to 2nd place, and Haflidarsson rounds out your podium. Jesper Eriksson, after holding on to the lead for so long, finishes just 2 seconds back, and Oulton in 5th place. But other Eriksson, Robert Eriksson here, 15th place, trying to fight through. 24 places increased in this race. Can he do one final move in towards Lodge, diving up the inside for Team Superior Top Dogs? But no, maybe not quite close enough, but certainly some awesome racing here this evening, but also some not so nice racing as they come across the line. The full car separated by nothing, and unfortunately Robert there just has to finish in that 15th place. Still the side-by-side battles continue. This is Hammerstrom up the inside in towards that final corner. Haflidarsson's teammate, his teammate up on the podium. Can have Hammerstrom there get that 18th place to the line? I think he should just about have enough momentum there. Gain 2 places in that number 62 machine.
One last set of 2 drivers racing near each other. Kind of crosses the line with a bit of a whimper to the end there. But yeah, that is pretty much the entire race finish. Just one driver left to crossed the line, and that's going to be Joan Su, who had to go an extra full lap because he was not passed by Arvidsson before they crossed the stripe. So here we go here with the results. Isaac Arvidsson wins the race by just under a second over teammate Mattis Martinsson. Michael Haflidarsson finishes in P3. That's your podium.
And Jesper Eriksson rounds out the top 4, and Tobias Olsson there. Crazy evening of racing, to be honest, with the ups and downs of some of these drivers. They were up, they were down, they were literally left and right. And especially Eriksson and Olsson, huge contact there in that first race. Lindberg is in behind with Holmer in 7th place. Giros is in 8th. Fredriksson and Lindhoff round out your top 10. And Lindhoff, God, he was in the wars today, along with Peter Bjork and even Moted as well. Those 3 drivers often came up on the screen. Wallingston is in 13th place. Holmbom and Rob Eriksson, who we followed to the line in that 15th place. Strauss rounds out your top 16. Bjork is in 17th. Hammerstrom green, and Skeglerson inside your top 20. And we'll just let the other results flick through there for lots of the other drivers. Who unfortunately just having some issues today. To name, Solandi's down in 24th place. Alexander Olsen in 30th, race winner, and then finishing 30th in race 3. Just showing you how crazy this this championship is, and how Oulton Park really gave us some tricky action. And then the final page, drivers who basically didn't make it to the end, unfortunately, including Davey Hansen, big crash in turn 1 after being there in the pole position. But we do have a couple of drivers to speak to and interview before we get to the conclusion of this broadcast. So let's bring in Haflidarsson, who of course finished on the podium, but also had a very interesting race. So Michael, it's good to speak to you once again in the interview room. That 3rd race was very good, but also tell us how your race 1 and 2 went, because you really had quite a bit of contact there too.
Well, I don't know why it's like a curse for me to have 2 bad races and 1 decent. In the first race, I was really lucky. I managed to avoid everything. I was up to P3, and then I tried a move for P1 in the first corner during race 1. didn't work out. Got tired from behind and then had massive damage. So just limping it home into P10, I think it was in the end. And then race 2 was kind of the same, just trying to limp it home with a broken car. And then actually the third race I also had a bit of damage as I hit the wall in the chicane pretty early on. But still had the pace to fight for it. But I knew Jesper was going to be fast. So I tried to let him go pretty early. And then let him like kind of drag me along, which kind of didn't work. But in the end, worked because he and Isak had a really tough battle towards the end.
Yeah, how was that actually sitting in behind? Because you, you were sort of sat there. You were trying to obviously work your way forward into that top two battle, but they sort of just kept going side by side and that sort of thing. Did you think you could get the race victory in that final race? Because you were so close there at the end.
I maybe I could have had if they collided. I think I had a pace over Mattis. It's hard to say, but if they collided, I could have gotten the win. But I was more stressed from behind catching up, since I knew I had damage, and if he caught up, it would be pretty easy for him to pass me. So I was more stressed about that. I was just happy that I managed to get one of the guys in front of me, so I at least got one podium and some good points.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, congratulations for your podium, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Next, we'll bring in Isak Arvidsson, of course, race winner for the final race of the evening. And Isak, you had to work so hard for that. Jesper was putting up an amazing defense, but you managed just about to find a way through.
Yeah. First off, thanks. Yeah, it was quite hectic at the end there. I really had to do all I had in my bag, so it was quite exciting last laps. I had to put the elbows out to really get past him. It's so easy to defend with this car when you are the leading car.
Yes, and coming into the chicane where you made the move, how scary was it going around the outside, because you were so close to hitting those tire barriers and the wall on the inside? I mean, you were really squeezing Jesper. I mean, you made it work, but how much risk were you taking there?
I mean, it was winning it or losing it there. When I decided to continue doing the corner, because I knew that I braked quite late, I was just committed to make the overtake, and I just gave him enough room on the outside into the second corner in the chicane. So yeah, it was quite scary hitting the tire barrier, but it worked out.
Yeah, good racing, and yeah, congratulations for your victory in race 3.
Thank you.
And lastly, we'll bring in Mattis Martinsson, who finished second place there in this final race of the evening. Teammate of Arvidsson at the front. But, I mean, you really had to work for that one, Mattis. Such close racing at the front. Just tell us from your point of view.
Well, the qualifying started with P6, then turn 3, I think it is, happened. Then it was race 2, just catching up, and then I was P15 over the line, so basically pole for final race, but then I think there was a disqualification or something, so I started P2 in the last race. I took a good start, then I overtook for P1 on lap 1. Then Isak was a bit quicker, so I let him pass. Then I made a mistake into the hairpin, and I got wheel damage. But then I was like 2 seconds behind them, behind Huffley. Then I just catched up, overtook him to see if I was quicker or not. Then they started fighting and just like choosing my point. Then when Isak got past Jesper in the end, I also overtook him. But then going out of the last corner, he pushed me like 3 times. So he pushed me basically off the track from behind. So that was quite a bit interesting, but rest was just train.
Yeah, and how was what is your opinion of Oulton Park? Because it's so sort of tight, it's so twisty. It's a very difficult circuit to race on, isn't it?
It's kind of meh, to be honest. Not the most fun track, especially with that hairpin. I think it could have been a bit wider of the track, but it's quite fun to drive just on your own, but against other cars, no, not so fun. And the off tracks in turn 3 or whatever, the exit before the chicane or hairpin this time is not that fun.
Yeah, certainly a tricky track, but you got P2 in the end, so yeah, congratulations for that, and hopefully we'll speak to you next time. Thank you.
Yep.
Cheers. And yeah, Dylan, that rounds out the interviews for this second round of the season. But wow, what chaos we had! That first race was yeah, something that hopefully we don't see again in many ways. It was absolute carnage.
Yeah, that was kind of fun and wild though, because you don't see that. I again, like you said, I wouldn't like to see it again, but it was an interesting moment to see all the drivers obviously got back going again for race 2. We got to look at the rest of the schedule right here. Winton coming up next, 12, 12, and 18 laps, and then we're halfway through the season. That's wild here for the Formula Series, and it comes at you really quickly.
Yeah, it certainly does. Just 6 rounds for this season. And I say Winton is coming up next. The Down Under Grand Prix by Forza Esports is coming away in just a couple of weeks' time. But don't forget, the Oval Series returns next week as well. So that is something to look forward to as we are going back to back. 1 week Oval and 1 week Road Course Series. Going to be a fun one from now until the end of the year, where we have racing absolutely every week. But it's been myself, Cam Roger, with Dylan Coyle alongside me, and Hugo Louise on the production of this RaceSpotTV broadcast. But we thank you for watching, and until next time, we wish you a very warm goodbye.